think that the most important thing for postdocs to consider as they are going up through their career is how they build their strategic networks. And it's not a case of being utilitarian in any way, shape or form, but you do need to build a network in such a way that you have people who are at the right career stage to support you. And when you're making applications to the Irish Research Council or the EU or further afield, you need people who will speak for you and to your research with a degree of knowledge. So you have to engage with people outside of your immediate field. In other words, you have to have a move away from your doctoral supervisor. Conferencing is really quite important, and being members of learned societies as well is another very important thing to do. So I suppose there are a number of ways in which you can kind of build your own research ecosystem, and at your own level as well, to make sure that you're kind to your own peers and that you support one another. So I think I would even make three into one. It's really about positioning yourself in your domain with the right kind of support network. And that's not something that happens overnight. I think that it's important to be courageous as well and introduce yourself. And nobody likes these awkward networking situations. Everybody else is in the same boat. Once you have this community of scholars around you, and friends, I would hope as well, these are the people that can help you through the difficult times, because for every successful funding application that's out there, there are 4 to 5 or 6 failed applications. And you may think that that giant in your field has never suffered the rigors of peer review. Of course they have. We all have failures behind us. And I think that as you mature as a scholar yourself, you learn to devise ways of coping with it. And it's important to look after your work-life balance as well. It's okay to feel sad about failing in a funding application, but be pragmatic about it. I would also recommend co-publishing with other people. It's something that we as humanities scholars don't do very often, but I've found as well that it's important when you're building your CV in terms of publications, your scholarly CV, that you go for kind of short-term and long-term plays, that you at least have one solid research output per year in a very high quality peer reviewed journal. But there's other ways of engaging with your scholarly community. I find Twitter is great. I have a good scholarly community in Twitter myself, and I'm only there as pretty much in a professional capacity. I think that it's really important that you build your CV incrementally and very carefully when you're doing your postdoc. If you want to move into being a principal investigator in the short term, you need to build a number of different aspects of your CV, not only the publications, which are of course de rigueur for all applications, but also having memberships of the right societies, attending the right kinds of conferences. You need to plan ahead. So you need to see where you want to be in 5 years' time. So if you're somebody who's in the first year postdoctorally, for example, you want to look at the funding landscape and map your own time and create a little roadmap for yourself. And say, for example, that you want to go for EU funding. It's expected that within 7 years of your PhD that you will have X number of publications, which most people know that they have to have. But also 50% of any application form is who you are and what you do. So you also need to be, unfortunately, you need to have your fingers in so many different pies. Well, obviously, communication skills are key, and the way in which you present yourself is hugely important, both in applications and in person.